You guys, the tea I have today on the Carolyn Tom Sandoval situation is so hot. I'm sweating. Okay. So we need to talk about it. We got to roast it. We got to recap it. So grab a beverage. I got my trusty soap here. Um, but hopefully you're wearing something very comfy. Smash that like and let's get this Wednesday party started.
If you like what you see, come and get it with me. I know you deserve all you want. 'Cause your heart's made of gold, but don't wait till you're old. If you want it, I get you some. Feel your body. If you like what you see, come and get it with me. I know you deserve all you want. 'Cause your heart's made of gold, but don't wait till you're old. If you want it, I get you some.
Okay, the tea I have today is obviously so hot, so just scolding that I played my outro for my intro. But hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel, stand-up comedian and pop culture vulture. Joleen Lunzer here for another No Offense, All Offense, where we break down all things going on in pop culture news, things we're obsessed with, reality TV shows, things we love to hate, things we hate to love. We take a comedic look, we roast it, we recap it, we have a good time. A warning, I'm very opinionated, but that doesn't mean you have to have the same opinion as me. We can respectfully agree to disagree and stay very, very calm, like our good friend Tamra Judge.
That's my opinion!
Remember, it's just my opinion. Okay, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hopefully everyone has a beverage, all the things. A couple little notes here before we jump right into it is please like the video. It's a free way to support the channel. It's a fabulous way to support the channel. It lets YouTube know, hi, we're here. We're doing the damn thing. And if you can, subscribe, which I think you can, as we are on our way to 50K subscribers. And if you want to support the channel further, you know the drill. You can always send a super chat while we're live here on YouTube. You can also send a super thanks after the video posts. You can hit me up on the Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, or if you want exclusive content, you can join my Patreon or my YouTube membership. I'm also going to be dropping a link for, we are going to be shouting out other women and their Patreon. So the first Patreon I dropped is Brittany Haynes, where I got a membership yesterday, you guys, to Brittany's Patreon. Brittany from Big Brother, Brittany from the season of The Traitors, went on her Patreon with Carolyn from the season of The Traitors, and they spilled the tea on Tom Sandoval and Carolyn and what really happened. And you guys, I was so riveted by this. Okay, so here's the link to Brittany's membership. I highly recommend, if you can, go get a membership. She seems to be doing tons of content for you, so you're going to get your money's worth. There's one tier, it's $12. If you sign up on your phone, I think it's like $17, but I signed up on my desktop and it was $12. And she's also going to be recapping her first season of Big Brother, BB12. So if you're a Big Brother fan, it's wonderful stuff. And it's a great way to support, you know, women in entertainment who we like. Carolyn also has a Patreon that I am also a big fan of this Patreon, where she's calling it Dear Diary. So I'm going to drop a link for her Patreon because I never want to stop a lady's bag, and I always want them to make all the money and do all the things. I'm not going to show anything from their Patreon because I don't want to steal their content, but I am going to give you a summary of what I saw. But it's not going to be anywhere I mean, I'm going to deliver, okay? But it's not going to be anywhere near watching these two break down what really went on, okay? So maybe you want to follow them, subscribe to them. There's a free subscription, but if you do the paid, I think Carolyn's is only like $5. Like, it's really reasonable, and they're just doing a lot of content. And if you like these women, go support them. Okay. Now, I got so into this last night, you guys. I could do nothing else. I watched it so many times, and I had to take notes because I was forgetting all the things that this is my Carolyn versus Tom notes, you guys. And that's only some of it as I'm writing it down. So I took notes for you guys. I love you guys. You guys are starting off. I also set a super chat goal If we hit it, I'm going to be roasting and recapping the Brittany Cartwright's first episode of her rebranded podcast, When Reality Hits, that she used to have with her narcissistic, abusive ex, Jax Taylor. And now she's rebranded it to herself. And the first guest she had on was Lala. I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm kind of excited. So if we hit our super chat goal for today, I'll recap that. You guys have been killing it with the comments and liking, and we are covering Jax's In the Mind of a Man, which is so painful. So I think Brittany's is going to be less painful and hopefully more like, yeah, get him, Britt, get him. Thank you, Casey, for becoming a member. Welcome to the membership. Bubco, thank you for being a member for 12 months. Evelyn, thank you for the first super chat of the live. Thanks for getting the tea, Joleen. You're so welcome. I was like investigative journalist Joleen over here. You guys, I was just like, I was riveted. Brittany, Haynes, what if you continue to bring this kind of content on your Patreon? I'm getting rid of cable. Just kidding. Who has cable? I'll get rid of Hulu. No, I can't get rid of Hulu, but I'll get rid of Paramount. I already did until Big Brother starts. Okay. It's good. It's good. Bubco, thank you for the super chat. You guys are getting me so close to the goal. Bubco says, won't be able to chat too much today, but I'll be listening. Love you, Joleen and Lean Teen. Okay. And if you guys haven't already, share this out because we need to let everybody know what is going on. Also, I need to preface this so nobody sues me. Everything I say is alleged and for entertainment purposes only. However, everything I say is true except for the parts that are clearly false.
Allegedly.
Not even clearly false, except for the parts that are false.
Allegedly.
But you're going to have fun, so grab a beverage. Let's get this party started because a lot of people say I'm pretty excellent.
I heard actually mixed reviews on Joleen.
Oh, Joleen was excellent. What are they saying?
What are they saying? I'm finally starting to put my print journalism degree to work, okay? Because I wrote things. And I don't know, do other ADHD people, like I write, this is how I hold a pen. Let me see. This is how I hold a pen and it hurts. And everyone's always tried to correct me. And then I heard somewhere that people with ADHD, they do that with their pens. And I was like, so where are my neurospicy people at? Because that was like, I've always wondered why people try to get me, teachers and stuff, don't hold your pen like that, Joleen. And I was like, and then I have like an indent on my finger and I'm like, as I'm writing, it's horrible. Chicken head, yes, let's make this happen. You guys are just killing it. Thank you. Letting the days go by. Get them, Joleen. Okay, you guys, I hate to say, when you're right, you're right. And we were right. And unfortunately, Carolyn is going through it. Okay, Carolyn versus Tom, the beginning. All right. So yesterday or a couple days ago on Brittany's Patreon, Carolyn and Brittany sat down to really break down what was going on between Carolyn and Tom, because we have seen that Carolyn has been taking little jabs at Tom from saying, on podcasts, she'll be like, did you think Tom was being was he being quiet at the reunion and all the events we did around the reunion for Traitors? Girl, he didn't talk. And then on Gabby Wendy's podcast, which we roasted and recapped, I'll put it at the end of this live, I'll link it. She said to Gabby, do you think Tom was sedated? Girl, I think, and Gabby's like, I don't know, I don't really look at him or like him because I hang out with a really cool group of people, and my wife is a hilarious stand-up comedian, so it's what do I need a mediocre male for when I have a woman who's really talented and fun and can make me organism? But I don't know, I didn't pay attention to him at all. Carolyn's like, oh, he just was something was wrong with him. So you could tell it's been bubbling up for a while, ever since these rumors came out that Carolyn allegedly has a crush on Tom. I untweeted it. And then at the reunion, Sam told Tom, yeah, she said she has a crush on you. And Tom was like, and we were all like, what? Thank you, Cammie, for the super chat. Says, thanks for being the queen investigator. So let's dive in. So then we get to this finally where Carolyn's going to talk about it with Brittany as they're doing joint collab stuff. Again, their Patreon links are in the live chat. Please go support them and give women creators all of your money in these days. Okay. So so according to Brittany, as she's kind of breaking it down, and Carolyn and Tom's issues came up after the crush rumor started. So after the Ion tweet, and then especially after Sam at the reunion for the Traitors said, Tom, Carolyn told me you have a crush on, or she has a crush on you. So Carolyn says, she's like, I wasn't saying anything about it. I just wasn't saying anything. Then Carolyn was going to go to his Hinckley Casino karaoke band show. So Tom, we know, just performed in Hinckley, Minnesota. There's a casino out there. Shout out to my home. And it's a fun one. And Tom had a show there. And Carolyn had been doing her post and also during season interviews saying that, have you heard Tom's music? It's good. It's, girl, he's good. And we were like, Carolyn, the band members in Tom's band are good. They're talented, all the things. But Tom can't sing. And that's okay. Subjectively, he cannot sing. Well, I'll just say objectively. Subjectively to me, it's not good. But I think objectively overall, he can't sing. Okay. He's like, he's searching for the notes. But some people like to go to it. God bless. Do what you got to do. But also pay your mom back, Tom. Okay. So Carolyn had been saying, I'm going to his show. He's coming to Minnesota. I'm going to his show, girl. I am going to his show. Okay, I'm going. And we were like, oh, geez, God, you guys. And they called, I think, each other their ride or die in the game. And so Carolyn was going to go to Tom's Hinckley show. Apparently, Carolyn had a vendor reach out to her to do like a deal or like a package to promote the show. And she was like, yeah. So then Carolyn calls/texts Tom to tell him, hey, I'm going to your show, Tom. Girl, I'm going. To which Tom then calls Carolyn and tells her not to come to the show. He's like, don't come. You can't come. Carolyn said he was rude. What? Tom Sandoval rude to a woman? No way. He was rude about it and started saying things about how Carolyn has been dismissive to his girlfriend, Vicki Lee Robinson, aka the spy who shagged Tom, who's going to make Tom pay for all of his crimes against women. That is in Vicki we pray. Okay, that I'm just putting that out there. That's my hope, is that Vicki is an inside operative, and she's in that relationship just to punish him for all the crimes against women that he committed and continues to commit. Thanks be to Vicki. Allegedly. Again, that's just my theory. Okay. So Tom tells her, no, you can't come. And you've been dismissive to my girlfriend, supermodel Victoria Lee Robinson. And you didn't even DM my girlfriend back. Ah. And then Carolyn says the last voice message, like voice message she got from Tom said, Carolyn, this is what Tom said to Carolyn. He said, Carolyn, I know more than anyone that you're the type of person that reads every comment. And how is it that you just purposely ignored my girlfriend's comments? I'm sorry, what? Now, my favorite thing about this is when they're talking about this, Brittany Haynes keeps referring to Tom as 45-year-old Tom Sandoval, which I'm sure he's going to hate because he loves to lie about his age, allegedly. Now, I'm pretty sure Tom is pushing 57, somewhere between 57 and 102. Okay. We, give or take a decade. But I got to love Brittany Haynes. She's like, he's like 45 years old. And I'm like, that's generous. So Tom's pissed because he said, you did not DM my girlfriend back. You were dismissive to her. And then he says to her that I know more than anyone, Carolyn, that you're the type of person that reads every comment. How is it that you just happen to ignore my girlfriend's comments? Carolyn was like, no, Tom, I'm horrible with social media. And anyone who actually knows me knows this. I'm terrible. But Tom's like, he's not believing it. So Carolyn said that she realized that she was arguing. She tells Brittany, she's like, I realized I was arguing with someone, that being Tom, who is not even in reality. Now remember, not even in reality. Could it be the Coca-Cola Classic with Jax can't beat the real thing, among other things? All right. Carolyn said to Tom, she's like, you're making things up. This is not even happening. So Carolyn feels like Tom's not in reality. He's just making shit up at this point. Tells him, like, you're saying things that aren't happening, Tom. And then Tom says, well, what's your response to why Sam said that? Being Sam, at the Traitors reunion saying that Carolyn has a crush. It's just a little crush. Okay. So, so basically what Tom is saying to Carolyn, and Brittany breaks this down too, is that Carolyn is mistreating his girlfriend. So he doesn't want anything to do with her because Carolyn's mistreating his girlfriend by not responding to her comments on Carolyn's own Instagram. Let that sink in for a minute. Tom has the audacity to contact Carolyn and say, I'm pissed at you. You can't come to my concert. We can't be friends anymore. I can't flirt with you or use you on my, redemption tour. I did the same thing with all the ladies of my cast of Vanderpump Rules, whatever. I throw women away so easily. Anywho, because I don't like the way you handled your own social media. That is so on brand for Tom Sandoval. Yes, Alexandra, the insecurity is palpable. But it's so on brand for him to tell a woman how to run her shit. Way to mansplain her own social media to her, Tom. But it gets worse. It gets worse, you guys. Okay? So, oh my God. And I wrote LOL there because I was like, that is crazy. You're telling her how to do her own social media and reply to her own comments. And that Carolyn and then Tom told Carolyn that she was dismissive, like we mentioned before, dismissive to Vicky, his girlfriend, at the reunion, at the Traitors reunion. He's like, you're dismissive to her. And Carolyn's like, what? So Brittany keeps stating over and over again, like I said, that Tom is near 45 years old. And Brittany says, I think that Tom, and I'm paraphrasing, here, but she said, I think that Tom and Victoria Lee Robinson's relationship is childish. Brittany actually compares their relationship to a relationship she had when she was in 8th grade. She's like, this feels like when I dated a guy in 8th grade, or maybe it's her now husband. I can't remember. And I would cover his eyes when the Girls Gone Wild videos came on because I was so afraid of him looking at another naked girl. I thought that was pretty hilarious. Okay. Then they both revealed that Tom has unfollowed both Brittany and Carolyn on social media.
Who is she? Who is she? Who is she? Where did you find her?
I defy you, stars!
So he's like, I'm unfollowing you. That's it. You've served your purpose. You've went on every podcast. Your star is on the come up. You have said, oh, Tom is great, so give us a chocolate cake. Like you were just like, I love Tom. Cancel me tomorrow. I love Tom. He's a good person. She had your back. She helped with the redemption arc, and now you're tossing her away. So he unfollows Brittany and Carolyn. Tom does on social media. And again, Brittany's like, I can't imagine having my 45-year-old boyfriend or even telling him to unfollow his castmates on social media. Like, what? And I'm like, I know, he's 86 years old. That is crazy. So Tom is now unfollowed. Brittany thinks that Victoria, so Brittany Haynes is like, well, I think that Vicky, maybe his girlfriend, might be micromanaging and controlling. And yes, but remember, Vicky's doing this for all of us. Okay. She's doing this for women everywhere. Really, she's taking a bullet for everybody so that we see some justice. No justice, no peace with these toxic Bravo men. So I still believe that Vicky is here to help us. But again, that just could be my weird feminist fantasy. All right. So then Carolyn's like, I don't like him. Like, I am asexual right now. Okay. Carolyn mentions like, I don't like guys. I hate men right now. I'm wearing a dump 'em shirt, girl, which is crazy because what was the clothing company that Ariana wore to the reunion after Scandal broke? And it was like, the boy's a liar. Maybe it was like a dump him kind of clothing brand. But I do know Britney Spears had the dump him t-shirt back in the day. So it's just all coming together crazily. All right. So Carolyn's like, no, I hate men. And Carolyn says she never flirted with Tom. Never once, nothing inappropriate. She doesn't understand why this is happening. Now, Carolyn, throughout this interview, boys lie. Thank you guys. That's what it was. I wanted to buy something from them and then I never did. But I was like, oh, that's so cute. The Boys Lie brand. Shout out to them. I don't know if that is the brand's name, but I think it might be. Carolyn, throughout this talk with Brittany, is scared. She's terrified. She's constantly scared of this information getting on Reddit. Apparently something might have happened. She references this on her Patreon of information getting on Reddit. And then, it seems like Carolyn, it could be because she's newer to this whole, world of reality TV, since she only did Survivor before this, and realizing that what you say does get out there. And especially when you're talking about other people in that world. So she's just like, oh, don't put this on Reddit. Don't put this on Reddit. And I want to say, Carolyn, don't be scared. Okay. It sounds like, from what we're going to get to more in the notes, that she feels a little bullied by these guys, like a little like, what are they capable of? How are they going to make her look? And don't be afraid, girl. Don't be afraid. But also, if you didn't want it out there, I mean, you wouldn't really put it on Patreon, Brittany's Patreon, and then possibly your Patreon. It's okay. Anyways, so Carolyn is scared that people will share this info, like on Reddit. For some reason, she's always talking about Reddit. And then why she's scared is she says she's scared Tom will turn this around on her and make her look like she's this crazy stalker who's in love with him. Kind of like, I think she's afraid she's going to get the Joe Wenberg. Now, Joe Wenberg kind of did this to herself, but Joe Wenberg just, you guys, in the past 24 hours, reposted that video that she did of Schwartz that she posted like months after they broke up. And now it's been, years? And she reposted in her stories and said she misses Tom Schwartz. So, all right. But it's everything Schwartz deserves, in my opinion. All right. So she's terrified that he's going to turn this on her and make her look like a psycho. And I think that's a legitimate fear. That's what these guys do. They always want to villainize the women, pit the women against each other when they're the ones that are really the problem and have boundary issues and are notorious cheaters like Tom Sandoval. Okay. So she's like, I don't want him to peg me as a crazy stalker who's in love with him. Carolyn said that she had to hear these exact words come out of Tom Sandoval's mouth to her. Tom Sandoval said to Carolyn, I don't know if it was in a phone call they had, it could have been because they did have a couple phone calls during this time, or a voice message. He said, Carolyn, I don't like you like that. He basically said, Carolyn, I'm just not that into you. Carolyn was like, I'm sorry, what? She said she's like, it was so embarrassing, girl. Hearing Tom Sandoval go, Carolyn, I was like, I don't like you like that either. What the hell, Tom? Carolyn said she went on every podcast, and when they were asking her, do you have a crush on Tom? She's like, no, I just feel bad for the guy. So she goes on to say, I just felt bad for Tom. And everyone warned her. Yes, we did, Carolyn. And I mean, literally the proof was out there all over the place. But yet you thought somehow you were going to be different. You were going to save him. Tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme. Believe women when they tell you. Like, he's creepy. Be careful. All right. So Carolyn's like, I just felt bad for him and everyone warned me about him, but I defended him. And apparently Carolyn told Tom that after filming the show, and when it was airing, that she would speak really nicely about him in all of her interviews. And I'm sure Tom was like, oh, cha-ching. Like, women having to clean up my messes? Yes, please. And we saw Carolyn do that. And it was so frustrating to watch her be in these interviews. And there's all this proof out there and all of the video evidence. And Tom is who he is. And her to go, I didn't see that side of Tom. He's great. He's what I love him. I cancel me tomorrow, girl. I love him. We're like, it just doesn't help anyone when women continue to be cheerleaders at their own demise and not listen to other women for these toxic, narcissistic POS men. But here we are. Okay. So she told him, I got your back. don't worry. When I do these interviews, I'm going to say really nice stuff about you. I'm going to help America like you again. Make America like Tom Sandoval again. And Brittany then chimes in and said, yeah. And this was before, all the episodes started airing, where people were starting to go, oh, maybe Tom Sandoval's funny. Brittany said this was before his redemption arc started on the Traitors, that Carolyn was willing, Brittany said, to defend this man when she thought everyone hated him. And so she's like, and Carolyn's like, yeah, because I saw myself in him and I felt bad for him. Girl, don't feel bad. These men get themselves in their own predicaments, and it's called consequences. Again, Tom Sandoval was never canceled. Tom Sandoval never lost opportunities. If anything, he went on more tours with his band and was on more television shows than he'd ever been in his life for behaving despicably on television. He was rewarded. Do we not understand that that's how it works in the patriarchy? Men are rewarded for bad behavior. Women are punished for men's bad behavior. Women are punished for their own behavior, but we're also punished for men's bad behavior. And the patriarchy thrives because some women and a lot of men are willing to take up for these dudes rather than hold them accountable. They want to protect the criminal. You know what I mean? For lack of a better term. They want to protect Tom from his own crimes. You're going to get punished anyways, because women always get punished for the crimes of men. So then you're going to volunteer when you're on the come up and everyone's loving you on Traitors to take a bullet for him? No, thank you. No, thank you. Thank you, Karen, for the super sticker. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know if I got Cammy's already, but Queen of Investigator. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Carolyn. Okay. All right. Yeah. Spell it out for them. Stop defending bad behavior. Men can handle it. Okay. Nobody gets canceled. They just get more opportunities or other opportunities or find a different audience. That's always how it is. Don't worry about them. Worry about you. Worry about your own vagina and uterus. All right. Before you be worrying about these dicks out here who give two shits about you. But I digress, sort of. Okay. So then Carolyn said that when all this is happening, she asked her fellow cast members, being Dylan, Wes, and Brittany Haynes, who she's talking to, what should I do? What should I do with this? Now, Wes and Dylan told her to ignore it. Ignore all of this. Ignore. Don't address the stuff with Tom. Just ignore it. Brittany, on the other hand, told her to publicly mock Tom on Instagram. So that's what Carolyn did. And we know this because Carolyn went on the night of Tom Sandoval's show, I believe. Could have been, I think it was that same night, maybe the next day. She went on to post a picture that she was pretending that it was at Tom's actual show and there was no one in the audience. And in Carolyn's defense, we've seen many empty Tom Sandoval shows, but that one at Hinckley Casino, I can't lie, my journalistic integrity won't let me. There were people there. Okay, maybe they were paid to be there. I don't know, but they were there. They were at Tom's show, allegedly. But let me pull up we talked about this yesterday, but let me just share it with you guys in case you missed it. She did post her stories, and then we were talking about it. We were like, what is really going on? Because then Tom Sandoval reposted it in his stories and called her out. And apparently she used a picture from Yelp of the venue in Hinckley. And it was from 5 years ago, and it was not Tom's show. And Tom's like, that wasn't my show. And Carolyn was like, sold out show. And some people were calling Carolyn out. I saw on Instagram being like, Carolyn, you're being messy. And Carolyn admits that, yeah, she was pissed. And so she was being a little messy because she's getting calls from this guy and his girlfriend. We'll get to that. About her somehow, being inappropriate. And so she can't come to the show. And she's, there's something wrong with her. Shout out to Bravo Boo on Instagram, who has the side-by-side of I'm going to share this one of the two pictures. Oops, let me get it. Oop, there we go. Thank you for your patience. Smash that like if you haven't already. Make sure you guys can see this. Hopefully you can see what I'm presenting here. Thank you, Bite Bits. I appreciate the super chat. Love this. Love you. Here's to women getting in the creator spaces. Yes. Go support Carolyn. Go support Brittany. Show them all the love because they're spilling some tea over there. Make that money off Tom Sandoval. Exploit him and monetize his bullshit the same way he exploits women for his bullshit. Stessie Bo, thank you so much, you and your sweet pup, for the super chat. Okay. So here is here's what Carolyn originally posted. It's packed tonight, and as you can see, there's just like, you know, like I said, like 7 grandparents there, maybe three sets of parents. And she said it's packed tonight, and then Tom reposted it like, what? That's not, he's like, that's funny, at Carolyn Rose. And then he posted another story saying, so you search a random Yelp show 5 years ago? That's not even my show, girl. So she was pissed and being petty and taking the wonderful Brittany Haynes suggestion to, you know, honestly, I will say, having done this sort of thing for a while, the best way to combat narcissistic men, toxic men, fascism is to make fun of it and make fun of them. Now, granted, you do got to be worried about murder, you know, because that's, men don't like to be laughed at. And we know that through all the Dateline in 2020, you know, and murder podcasts. But it is really a great way to combat that, to combat bullies, is to, you know, make fun of, you know, laugh, show how ridiculous they are, if you will. But I mean, don't take my advice. I'm just a narc slayer. What do I know? Okay. So she took Brittany's advice to publicly mock him on Instagram. She mocks him on Instagram. It doesn't go well. I mean, it goes well. She gets to the mocking, but Tom Sandoval, you know, is upset. And then eventually Carolyn deletes this story from her Instagram, and Tom keeps his up, and no one could find Carolyn's, but people were able to get screenshots of it here. Okay. So Brittany's like, well, I'm glad you took my advice. Thank you for doing that, because I think that's wonderful. And I love Brittany so much, and she knows how to deal with these, you know, toxic idiot men. She knows what'll get to them. So then Carolyn then says, side note, guys, my sister was like a couple hours away, and she was visiting my grandma. And on the way back, she ended up staying, just a coincidence. Okay. She stayed at that night at the casino Hinckley in Minnesota, girl, where Tom's show was. So Carolyn says her sister stayed at the Hinckley casino the night of Tom's show, just by mere coincidence. And also that night, Carolyn, because, you know, Carolyn, she brings it, and she said she also won $11,000. And I want to know, what machine were you on, or were you playing tables? Let us know. I've never won anything like that. I don't go to the casino very much, but wait till I tell Nana. Wait till I tell my mom. She loves Hinckley. I don't think she's ever won $11,000 from Hinckley. But Carolyn's sister's there. She wins $11,000. She's there by sheer coincidence, Tom. So if you're going to say that she was there to stalk you, think again, because Carolyn did say it was quite the coincidence, though. So her sister stayed there. What wins 11,000, and then, but while her sister was there, she was taking pics, and she was sending these pics to Carolyn. Now Carolyn was going to take one of the pictures she sent, and her plan was originally to publicly, you know, when she was going to mock him on social media, on Instagram, she was going to Photoshop herself into the pics, and then she was like, that's too much work. So she ended up not doing it. Instead, Carolyn said she literally Googled looking for the event space at Hinckley, found this picture, and then posted it. The picture where there was no one in the crowd, which again, reminiscent to quite a few Sandoval shows, just not the Hinckley show. I think there were quite a few people there. So she's like, that was too much work. So I just Googled the venue and posted the pic that I found. But Carolyn's like, but I so badly wanted to post a Photoshop pic of myself at the casino and be like, I'm at the casino. Screw you, Tom. Girl, I did, but I didn't do it. So she wanted to do that, which I think would have been so funny. Carolyn, next time. Okay. Then Brittany brings up something we brought up. I think people are watching us. Okay. Brittany brings up the breakup that Vicky and Tom had late last year, December 16th, 2024 to be exact, the very public Instagram story and Instagram live breakup that Vicky Lee Robinson and Tom Sandoval had. And Brittany's like, oh, you know what I remember is after filming Tom late last year, Tom went back on tour with his band, and him and Victoria had a very public breakup. And she posted something in her stories. Brittany was saying, like, I guess he really does like the Friends. And Carolyn goes, oh, I didn't know that. Girl, I didn't know. And so they're just pointing out, like, there's already, instability in the relationship, which we see. There's already insecurity, obviously. And Carolyn says, I mean, I'm not trying to whatever, but like, girl, you're dating a notorious cheater. What do you expect? I mean, you're right. But also Vicky knows. Vicky knows. That's why she's not. That's why she's an insider. She's getting them from the inside. Okay. She's scraping them like when you have to get your uterus scraped. She's scraping them out of her uterus. I'm going to scrape that manja right out of my uterus, right out of my uterus, right out of my cervix. I'm going to scrape that man right. Okay. Anyway, those who get it, get it. Carolyn said that right now and yesterday she was living in fear because of all the voice memos that Tom and Vicky are sending her. Carolyn said she's not good. She's not good on social media. She gets anxiety. She can't reply to people. She doesn't reply to messages and stuff. And what she'll do is she'll like send them or screen record them and send them to like her sister to read. So apparently Tom and Victoria, allegedly, according to Carolyn, are sending her these voice memos and her sister's listening to them for her. And Carolyn's sister is like, be careful, Carolyn, because these voice memos from Tom and Vicky sound slurred and weird. Why do we think they would be slurred?
Where's Meredith Marks when I need her?
The rumors, the nastiness, the rumors, the nastiness. You want me to go there with her husband? I can go there. You can leave.
Slurred and weird.
Clearly, we can see who has issues here, and it is not me.
Basically, what Carolyn is saying, okay? Which isn't surprising because we've seen the slurred, weird times during the Up and Adam interview that happened while Tom was filming. Speaking of Billy Lee, Carolyn's going to bring up Billy Lee soon in this. So, I mean, we might have to reach out. Billy Lee, hit me up. You might have to come on here and you might have to, we might have to talk, girl. We might have to talk. I don't know. You have your own podcast to talk about this, but they brought you up. So you got some more content. You might want to jump on that. Okay. Women supporting women again. Anyway. So Carolyn says, they're slurred and weird. These voice memos. We know they like to stay up late, break up with each other on Instagram and then go on Instagram Live. And then Tom smokes cigarettes and he's like, don't tell my mama that I'm smoking. She's going to be so mad. Tom, according to Carolyn, said on one of the voice memos, he was like, oh, Carolyn, so you can call me back, but you don't call my girlfriend back? Apparently, Vicky called Carolyn on Instagram. She did an Instagram phone call and called Carolyn. Carolyn's like, I don't call people. I don't know her. And like, I didn't get a notification for that. So I didn't know. And Tom is pissed because she didn't call Vicky back, his girlfriend, who she says she barely knows, but she can call him back. So then this is the weirdest part. Are you ready? Are you ready? Just when you think Tom is like, people are like, Tom's so different. He's changing, whatever. Listen to this creepy thing. This 78-year-old man sent Carolyn a screen recording of Carolyn's comment section on her Instagram and to point out how his girlfriend Vicky's comments were the only ones that she didn't heart or reply to. He took the time to go into Carolyn's Instagram comments as an 86-year-old man, screen record them, send them to Carolyn to be like, look, you didn't reply to my girlfriend.
Ariana doesn't do a goddamn thing in that house. I don't even know how her ass gets wiped. The girl's so goddamn lazy. You don't even empty the litter box of your cat. I literally pulled out the litter box and replaced the entire thing. I had 12 shits in it. It gets annoying to have her like talk shit about me like being a certain way when she literally is the laziest person.
This man is so embarrassing. Like, he is so embarrassing. It's unhinged. Who does this? This is, Tom, pay your mom back. Sell the house. You're like, I'm very busy, with the house stuff. I got paint, You're squatting. You owe your mom $250,000 allegedly. I mean, sir, there are more important things you could be doing with your time, 12 shits, Tom, than screen recording another woman's comment section or a woman in general's comment section and sending it to her because she didn't heart your girlfriend's comments.
Have some remorse. Have some sensitivity.
Guys. But we can totally see Tom doing that because he's like that. Same way earlier in this, how he told Carolyn, I know that you read every comment. You look, no, that's you, Tom. That's what you do. You're obsessed with this. You got to get a job, Tom. Okay. You need a hobby. It should be paying your mom her retirement back, allegedly. $250,000 is a lot. And she was a hardworking firefighter and she deserves better. Okay. So he sends Carolyn the screen recording of her own comment section and how she didn't heart Vicky's comments, but she hearted everyone else's. Like, that's psychotic behavior. All right. According to me. Carolyn said, Carolyn was like, anyone who knows me know that I can't handle my social media. Okay. So Carolyn's pissed at this point because she's just being like bombarded, according to her, with all this shit. And she's like, what did I do to deserve this? Because 2 people said I have a crush on him. So then they discussed the Ion tweet because the first rumblings of Carolyn possibly having a crush on Tom came out with Chanel Ion and that tweet she put out about someone having a crush on Tom and that Tom is actively staying away from this person. And I believe the tweet came out while they were about to or while they were filming the reunion. And Carolyn addressed this on her Patreon. We talked about it before. And she was like, no, it's not true. I don't. What? So Carolyn said that okay, where is this? Okay, they discussed the Ion tweet. When Carolyn saw it, she said she texted Tom. When she saw Ion's tweet, she texted him, fuck you, Tom. And said that when she reached out to Ion that about the tweet, Ion said, oh, I just made it up. You know, we were just stirring up drama like we did in the castle. And Carolyn's like, what? And apparently then she talked to Dylan about it. And I guess Ion was maybe joking about this to Dylan at the Laker game that they all went to for one of the activities around the reunion. And so it's so ridiculous. Ion's like, I just made it all up. Just sorry. So then Brittany chimes in and she wonders why. She's like, I don't understand, which Brittany, you won't understand because you're too busy being like a healthy individual, raising a family, living in middle America, not trying to be weird in Hollywood and find relevancy on reality TV by bringing down women like Tom Sandoval. Brittany's like, I don't see why you couldn't have why didn't they just make a joke out of it? Like out of this whole crush and the rumors, like why make it so serious? Like this unfollowing and all this stuff. And then they both kind of mentioned, well, it probably has a lot to do with an insecurity within the relationship. And that's when Carolyn's like, well, girl, I mean, not for nothing, but you're dating a notorious cheater. And really, yeah, that's the thing. Vicky's always going to be looking over her back. Thankfully, she's an op, so it's all good. It won't affect her, allegedly. But when you're dating someone like that. Like, you're never going to sleep well because he's a liar, a cheater, a boozer, a user, and a loser, you know. So, but Carolyn says where she got pissed. Here, let me look at this real quick. Okay. Carolyn then says she got pissed. Oh, oh, here we go. Here's how all right. Smash that like if you guys haven't already. All right. So all of this, she's like, she was pissed on a whole nother level. All of this happening when it started, according to her, to feel like Tom was gaslighting her. He was saying things like, my girlfriend just called you because she wanted to squash things. And that's why she called you and you couldn't even call her back. And she's like, and then Carolyn was like, no, that's not it. Your girlfriend clearly was calling me because I put that in my story about no one going to your show. And I put that picture up that it was empty and the empty stage. And when Carolyn was pretending she was at the concert and nobody was there, that's why your girlfriend called me. So she said that day he sent Carolyn a text, okay, saying, don't come to the concert. And then Carolyn says, I immediately DM'd Vicky and was like, hey, I'm sorry. I never thought to reach out to you when these crush rumors came out and be like, sorry about these rumors because I thought they were so stupid. So Carolyn's like, I didn't reach out to you because apparently Tom thinks, you should have replied back to my girlfriend. You should answer her DMs. You should heart all her comments. And Carolyn's like, well, I didn't reach out to your girlfriend to say, hey, sorry, people are spreading rumors that I have a crush on you. I just thought it was so stupid. So I didn't acknowledge them. And that's where she mentions that in interviews, people would ask if she had a crush. And she's like, no, I just feel bad for him. Blah, blah, blah. So Carolyn says, I never thought I needed to like reach out to his girlfriend. And Brittany keeps reemphasizing, like, you didn't even know his girlfriend. Why would you reach out to his girlfriend? It's weird. Why would you call her and talk to her? So Carolyn says, I'm thinking in my head, like, I'm not saying I'm some, ugly person. And we're like, no, Carolyn, you're beautiful. But Carolyn didn't understand like why she's trying to wrap her head around why she would be a threat to their relationship because they're both talking about how beautiful Tom's girlfriend, Victoria Lee Robinson, is. And Carolyn's like, it's not like I'm cast on the show to be like the hot chick. I'm like the weird, quirky chick on TV. Okay, I'm the weirdo who makes goofy faces. Why wouldn't think like that? And she just, again, she doesn't want it posted on Reddit. She's very worried about Reddit. Okay. This is where my notes got a little messier. Carolyn says she doesn't want to bring attention to it, but she's literally bringing attention to it. But she says she doesn't want to get into it with Tom and his girlfriend. I think she is legitimately, it seems like she's scared of what they're willing to do. And after hearing these slurred voice memos and knowing that they're very public about their breakups and drama, she's worried and she doesn't want anything to do with that. And then Brittany just reassures her, like, I think this has very little to do with you. And it speaks to the general fact that there must be some sort of bigger issue that makes small things like this a problem. She's talking about in Tom and Vicky's relationship. Like there's bigger issues there. Like there's a backstory, Brittany says, that we don't know about, that we're not privy to. And Carolyn says, oh, we are privy to it because it's all over. And this is when she brings up Billy Lee. Okay. Apparently, according to Carolyn, her sister did a little deep dive and she said it took. So shout out to Carolyn's sister. I want to meet Carolyn's sister because she's doing the Lord's work, staying at the Hinckley Casino, winning $11,000, taking pictures, sending it to her sister. So she did a deep dive, and it took her about 20 minutes, and she found a ton of stuff on Tom Sandoval. And Carolyn talks about Carolyn says there's literally like he had friends in the past. And she says it's not like I was super close to Tom or anything. She just wants to reiterate that. She said I literally just felt bad for him, but her sister found information that the girlfriend has done this in the past with Tom's friends. Someone called Billy Lee. And we remember while Tom was filming Traitors, there was drama between Billy Lee and Vicky, Tom's girlfriend, who, Billy Lee was on Vanderpump Rules. She was on a couple seasons, I think. And then she came back for his redemption arc season in season 11, which nobody asked for. Not for her to come back, but for the redemption arc. And she would watch him take like ice baths, and she was so loyal to him to a fault, only for him to then shit on her. And then she went on her podcast to talk about how him and Vicky have a very toxic relationship. And she threw, quite a few accusations out there regarding, drug use and all these things. And then Vicky and Kyle Chan went on Up and Adam's channel to be like, oh no, this isn't true. And then at one point during the interview, Victoria Lee Robinson was like, can I go to the bathroom? And then she got up to take a TT, and it was just a mess. And there were a couple weeks where they were, talking about this, and Billy was talking about this on her podcast, and then everyone just stopped talking about it. And then when Tom came back from Traitors, he did a podcast episode with his girlfriend, Victoria Lee Robinson. And we talked about it over here where they kind of addressed this, talking about Billy and painting her in a bad light. But I mean, it's looking like Billy was just telling the truth. But again, Billy was another woman who learned a valuable lesson too late. Like, watch how he treats other women. That's how he'll treat you. The secret. It's not a secret. It's right there. Mm-hmm. So Carolyn says, she's done this in the past with his friends. It was some story, Carolyn says, where the girl, one of his female friends, was like, I can't be friends with either one of them because they give me such bad anxiety. So Carolyn says, so this is a pattern. And it's not, I'm sorry, this is, she's like, it's a pattern. I'm sorry to say this, but you're dating someone who is a notorious cheater? I mean, what do you expect? So Carolyn says she sees both sides. She sees why Tom wants to distance himself from her. Fine, whatever. Carolyn's like, that's fine. She understands that. Blah, blah, blah. And then she can understand and respect Vicky, Tom's girlfriend. But Carolyn says, making me feel like I did something wrong, or that I crossed some boundaries. That's what pissed her off. And Carolyn's like, I freaking kept you alive, Tom. I kept you alive. You dumbass. When she calls him a dumbass, it's in such a perfect Minnesota accent. She's like, I kept you alive, you dumbass. So then Brittany says, we can move on from Tom. That's okay. And then Brittany's about to talk about herself and looking at Reddit. And she asks Carolyn if she looks at Reddit. And Carolyn says, unless someone sends me shit, I don't read it because I'm terrified that this is going to get on Reddit. Because Tom, I don't want to, she doesn't want Tom to, she says, Tom loves this shit. And she doesn't want Tom to flip the narrative and be like, Carolyn's obsessed with me and she's a psycho, so she doesn't get any notifications, and she doesn't like Reddit, and she doesn't want this anywhere near Reddit. So that's the full rundown, you guys. I want to jump in the comments and see what you guys are thinking. But it was crazy because, again, this is what we all knew would come. This is how Tom's relationships with women are. He's always going to blame them because Tom, at the ripe age of 96, doesn't know how to have clear and comfortable boundaries with people. And he loves the female attention, and he loves to cheat, and he loves stick his ween where it doesn't belong, and then lie. And he loves to play the victim of his own crimes. So we knew, and then blame women. That's just what he does. Well, Rachel Raquel, when they were like, well, you're older than Rachel. You were on TV longer than Rachel. Rachel got out of an abusive relationship, not making excuses for Rachel Raquel and the affair, but they were kind of bringing these things up to Tom. We all remember at the reunion, and we're like, Rachel, maybe she was a little more impressionable. And Tom, being, 102 years old, was like, well, I think I was impressionable too when she took off her top and went in my pool. And it's like, you can't be impressionable. You're a grown man. You should be able to control your own appendages.
Guess what? I was very impressionable when she took all her clothes off and jumped in my pool.
He can't take accountability. He just has never been able to.
Have some remorse. Have some sensitivity.
And we know that he, wants to yell at women and is mad that he can't fight with women like gay men can or other women can because he's this cis male. He's just a cyst on the world.
The new thing is that, as a cis male,
Did you say cyst?
raise your voice, yell, do whatever you feel entitled to do. But as a straight male, if I was a woman, I could do that. If I was a gay male, I could do that. But as a straight male, if I raise my voice, it's wrong.
He just wishes that he could do that. He says, if I was a woman, I could do it. If I was a gay man, I could yell at women. He just wants to yell at women so much. So let me jump in the comments and see what you guys are saying. I know I just put a lot of information out there for you. Again, make sure I'm going to drop Brittany's Patreon again to go show her some love in the club. Here is a link to subscribe to her Patreon for exclusive content and these kind of conversations. And then she's recapping shows she was on. And so looks like some good stuff. I am a Patreon supporter of both Brittany and Carolyn, so definitely recommend it. All right, SA says both Tom and his girlfriend are pathetic. Immortal Geo says that's not Maverick material. Stacey Bo says middle school behavior. Yikes. Michelle says, I wonder if Rachel gives thanks daily that she escaped this dude. Yeah, and I really do hope Rachel wins in court against Tom and drops the allegations against Ariana, because I think we know that Ariana didn't send out revenge porn. I think what she said she did is she sent Rachel back the recording of the fingerling or a screenshot of it that she found on Tom's phone. Because remember, Tom Sandoval is still in a lawsuit with Rachel Raquel, the woman he had an affair with, for ever and a day that caused scandal. That he is in a lawsuit with her because he recorded intimate time with her on FaceTime when she was fingerlinging, allegedly, and saved it without her consent, to which it was saved on his phone where anyone could get at it. We don't know who he sent it to. And that is how Ariana found out about the affair, is she found the fingerling video of they would both pleasure themselves on the FaceTime when they couldn't be together or something. And so Rachel Raquel, it's like, you can't save that shit. So Tom, if anything, Rachel Raquel. Okay. So we know Tom now, through what Carolyn has said, has a history of screen recording, because he screen recorded Carolyn's comments to show her, you didn't like my girlfriend's, you didn't heart her comments. So it shows that this is a pattern of behavior. I don't know if that'll help in your case. Reach out to Emily D. Baker, but maybe. So this is who this person is. He loves to screen record, especially screen record women's content, women's bodies, stuff that he has no consent to screen record. Now, obviously, him screen recording Carolyn's comments is creepy and psycho to send to her like she did something wrong by not hearting his girlfriend. Like, go pay attention to your girlfriend. Go hang out with her. Go hug her. Stop needing other women to fulfill this midlife crisis or whatever is broken inside of you. Fix that shit. But him recording Rachel Raquel without her consent while in an intimate act that was just supposed to exist in that moment between the two of them on FaceTime, very different story. Michelle said, this guy he's a menace with a phone. So he wants to pretend, I'm so innocent. I'm just trying to move on with my life. I'm just trying to sing karaoke. You're not, Tom. You're literally harassing Carolyn, allegedly, through voice memos, drunken, slurred, coked up. Who knows what it is at this point? Allegedly, obviously. We don't know anything. That's like when Andy Cohen asked Tom about, what do you think about Jax and his Coca-Cola Classic usage? And Tom's like, yeah, man, good for him. It's like, Andy, the call's coming from inside the house. Okay. Let's not pretend both of you didn't know, and that possibly both of you, definitely Tom Sandoval, has probably maybe done the Coca-Cola Classic with Jax. Great question. Tracy wants to know, is Tom afraid of Vicky? Yes. Yes, he is. Okay. So what's happening now? Here's what we're seeing happening with both of the Toms. They were able to get away with some pretty shitty, despicable behavior throughout the show. And when you watch it back, you're like, whoa, the stuff, the pristine edit they got, the way they treated Katie, the way they treated Ariana, the way they treated Kristen, the way they treated Stassi, the way they treated so many women on this show with very little pushback. Well, now we're seeing, now that they're out of these relationships, the type of women they're going to find aren't always going to be like the Arianas who are going to be like, you're dead to me, gray rock, bye. What you're going to find is you're going to find the Joe Wenbergs. You're going to find the Victoria Lee Robinsons. You're going to find women who are going to either do it back to you or going to make your life a living hell and not just walk away. You're going to find Carolyn, who's going to be spilling the tea. All right. And these men deserve it so much. So when people are like, I'm worried for Schwartz, I'm not. He invited Joe into this group. He was warned about her behavior and how it was sus. He used her as a weapon against Katie and the other women in the group. Him and Tom had allegedly this plan to replace Katie and Ariana with Joe and Rachel Raquel. So now these are called consequences. So I guess there are a couple consequences happening where Tom being obviously taken to court for recording Rachel Raquel without her consent. And then Joe Wenberg, 2 years later, still like, I miss you, Schwartz. I miss you. So I don't feel bad for these men. Nomadic says, did I miss the part about the reason Vicky and Tom unfollowed each other? He loves the best friends. Just rewind a little bit. We get into that. But Silly Goose says, this is all Vicky. Billy Lee told us. Yep. And I love it. I love this for Tom. And Tom, this is how your life is going to be now. Because Vicky, she's going to stay with you. And she's going to be like, oh, okay. She's going to keep tightening the leash. Pretty soon, you're going to be like, I can't breathe. And Vicky's going to be like, good. Allegedly, obviously, for funsies. Alex says, I knew it wouldn't take long for Tom to start messing up his redemption arc. I mean, come on. As hard as these producers try, these shows try to make Tom a redeemable human, he'll always fuck it up because he doesn't do any of the work. He, just like Jax, he doesn't really think anything's wrong with him and he keeps being rewarded for this behavior. So why would he change? You know? Kristen, great point. Kristen says, because those rumors had nothing to do with Carolyn and everything to do with cheaters being cheaters. Alex says, I love Carolyn, but I don't know what she expected from Tom. He's proven the kind of person he is over and over again. I have some theories, obviously, that we've talked about, but another theory is that when he went into the castle, maybe he couldn't get his hands on some of the things he was maybe used to getting his hands on. Maybe a little Coca-Cola Classic, thus the sweats. I mean, you can say it was really hot, but he was like acting really weird, shoving food in his face. I mean, possibly, again, he'll be like, oh, is it coming off of anything? But maybe Carolyn really believed like this person is trying to get better. He gives her the sob stories. He does this manipulative stuff that he does. And her being someone in addiction and recovery, maybe she wanted to believe it. And she fell down, that hole of like, no, he's trying to get better. You guys, he's great. A good guy. And I think sometimes with people who are in recovery or people who are sober, and I know this for myself, is you do have this, like, you do have empathy because you're like, oh, I did some shit too. And that's what Carolyn would always say, like, I did some shit too. So I don't want to hold, him to a higher standard than myself. Like, I know what that feels like. But again, he's not in recovery. He's not even attempting to be in recovery. If anything, he's just weaponizing your recovery to manipulate you to take up for him. So you don't. The way I would look at it as someone in recovery, I I wouldn't look at it the same way, but we're all different, but I think maybe that's where the manipulation really came, is the story. Cause Carolyn has been sober for a very long time, and she's very serious about her recovery and very open about it and very vulnerable. And I think she's assuming that maybe, she sees Tom as like a wounded, I don't know. But again, he's elderly. If he's got wrinkles, he should have figured it out. Okay. That's a telltale sign, especially, with men. If he's got wrinkles, he should have already figured it out. And Tom's got crinkles. He got Botox. He got wrinkles just like the rest of us. Okay. So he should have figured it out. Yes. The Up and Adam interview. Oh my God. It was so weird. Kyle Chan and Vicky on Up and Adam. So I wonder if this is something that, Billy Lee is going to address again. And Tom and Vicky will address this again because he keeps saying, my podcast is coming back. Evelyn says, ex-women friends of Sandoval unite. Billy Lee, Carolyn, compare notes. Have Carolyn on your podcast, Billy. But Carolyn says she doesn't want to do podcasts. So bring them all in for an interview. Listen, if Carolyn wants to talk about it, you're welcome. Billy Lee wants to talk about it here, you're welcome. I don't really always do that sort of thing. I like to just give my opinion, but hey, I will open my door up to the women. Michelle says, this is exactly why Carolyn was all poor Tom. Jillian Frog says, this sounds like the start of a crazy relationship that ends up on Dateline. It could be. It definitely could. Coming in with the tea. Oh my gosh. Right. Thank you, Amy. Shelly says, Carolyn, girl, Reddit hates Tom. You're good. You're good. I think she's more concerned about Tom pays attention to Reddit. And so Tom reacting to this stuff. So other people sharing it on Reddit and then them reacting to that. So why does Bravo protect him? Immortal Geo, that's a question we've been trying to answer. They love a toxic douchebag, no good, take down women men. They really do. The patriarchy is strong at Bravo with a mostly woman audience. There are obviously, a good amount of men that watch, but I'd say the majority of their audience is women. And yet here we are. And that's why we call it out. Okay. Yes, Nomadic. Tom is a squatter. Tom, you are a squatter. Indiana Girl Jules, thank you for being a member for 45 months. She said, loving these earlier lives right during my lunchtime too. Loving all your content. Keep roasting Jax. Please, LOL, doing the God's work. I am going to try. You guys showed up and showed out with the comments and the likes. So I did promise to roast and recap the next 2 episodes of his new podcast. TLC says Victoria is also a super fan of VPR. See, the way Victoria says it is, and Tom says it like she never watched the show. So, okay. All right. Yes, Alex, the number one guy in the group has always been hippie all along. Well, no, the number one guy in the group has always been the women of Vanderpump Rules. There's never been a number one guy. It's just always been the women. And that's just how it is. Yes, Ivor telling Tom, stop eating, Tom. I mean, it was pretty clear. Vibrator says, I think Carolyn has low self-esteem and latch on to anyone. Well, Carolyn herself says she doesn't have low self-esteem. She's like, no, I don't have low self-esteem or anything. She just has like a lot of empathy. So, let's see. Books of a Lost World says, we've seen how good of a liar manipulator that Tom is with her experience in her past relationship. I can see why Carolyn, I think her situation, what she was coming out of in her last relationship, allegedly, made her just like a prime target for Tom Sandoval. Ooh, interesting. TLC 6994 said, I've noticed Kyle Chan isn't promoting Tom. Interesting. Krista saying, again, is a woman having to think about other men so we don't get harassed for something someone else does. Yes, Vibrator, I think Andy protects them. Yes. Madeline says, Tom Schwartz, king of passive aggression. Was anything worse? But more Schwartz than him not filing, his marriage certificates after his and Katie's California wedding. Just a baby man. Just a baby man. I would love to, Michelle, rescue hippie. I would love to. He's with that James Kennedy, another douchebag. Evelyn says you can have a belief that you don't have low self-esteem and still have low self-esteem. Good point. You can. Totally can. Carolyn and the Reddits. Carolyn versus the Reddits. But I think overall, this is just yet another time when we as women have to start believing each other. We have to start looking at the facts. There is nothing against women. There's nothing special about any of us that is going to make a toxic man, an abusive man, a liar, a cheater, a manipulator treat us any differently than the way he treats all other women. I think the patriarchy has made us believe that, like, no, you want to let the girls in, like, ooh, I'm the one woman who got in. Like, that's a very old, like, misogynistic take that they want us to be competitive with one another, because if we come together and we rise and we sync up our periods, we can take over the world. Okay. If in perimenopause, we sync up our little heat, our hots, I always want to call them hot sweats. We could do anything. I mean, think of everything women go through and deal with and just have to, like, keep going every day, like, and nothing is wrong. We terrify them, but they want to divide us. They want us to go after one another than actually team up. So I think there's always that we have to fight in us, that conditioning of, well, there must be something special about me because I was invited to the boys club. Dismantle the boys club. Okay. Break all the glass ceilings, the glass floors, dismantle it. If you are the only girl in the group, that's a problem. You should want to see your gender represented where you are. All right. It's not a flex. And I know that was when I first started comedy, they were like, there'd be certain places like, we don't normally book women. They're not funny. And I was like, oh, okay. So you're the only woman. But then I started asking questions like, well, why am I the only woman? And I tried to run a all woman show early in my comedy career at the local club. And one of the bookers there said, well, what if a woman comes in and she takes your spot? You don't want to lose your spot. I'm like, there's only one spot for women, but there's all these spots for these mediocre men. That's ridiculous. So don't be afraid that one lady's going to take your spot, or don't be afraid that, or don't think that you somehow are going to be the exception to the rule. You're never going to be the exception. And that's not a knock on any of us. It's just, this is who this person is. This is a pattern of behavior. This is who these men are. And we have to stop protecting them. They can protect themselves. They're big ass boys. Protect themselves. You notice how Tom owes his mom money. He owes Ariana money. He lets women do his bidding and do his redemption arc and go save him from his hoe self. Tom Sandoval's a hoe. He's a lying ass manipulative hoe. If he was a woman, he would be slut shamed across the world. He wants people to, he wants to pretend that he was somehow the victim of his own crimes, that he was somehow canceled and treated so horribly. Sir, you were on The Masked Singer, the army show where you had to poop outside and JoJo Siwa had to carry you. Traitors, VP, like all these other show opportunities came only because of Scandival. You would have never been on all these other shows without Scandival. So there was no punishment. There was only rewards. And we see the same thing with Jax Taylor. There's no punishment. There's only rewards. He gets another season of The Valley. The network and the podcast just push him forward. Alex Baskin-Robbins can't stop talking to him. He's like, we're going to talk to Jax again. I'm going to go on Jax's podcast. You go on my podcast. I'm on Jax's podcast. Circle Jerk City. Because they are protecting him for the upcoming season. And it's just so transparent. It's so ridiculous. And we all see it because we're not stupid. Yes, the internalized misogyny of it all. Yes, perimenopause and grief, Care Bear, 100% suck. Perimenopause and ADHD suck. Perimenopause, it's a pain in the ass. Let's sync up our perimenopause, our menopause, our post-menopause, even if you're in your 20s, like, let's get it together. Get it together. It's a roast-a-thon. Yes. Vicky's friend was on the show. Tom, the way Tom tells it. So Nomadic says Vicky's friend was on the show. That's how they met. Tom says Vicky's friend took her to his show, but she had never heard of him before. Kristen said VPR's husband was the only dude worthy of screen time. But even Ken Todd, remember how Lisa Vanderpump would talk about Ken? She's like, oh, back in the day, Ken was randy. He's a naughty boy, naughty. I had to rein him in. So I believe Ken was probably a lot like, the Toms and the little Peter Pan Bravo boys who was just out there. Because Todd married Lisa when she was, I believe, pretty young. And then Lisa again was like, I had to, boys will be boys, rein him in, like that very tired cliche for men that only allows them to keep, behaving badly and treating us like shit. So I think Ken Todd was, if anything, I think Ken got tired. As you get older with men, you'll see this. They just get too tired to cheat anymore, too tired to do the stuff they were doing. And then they just want soup, And, but Lisa has made it pretty known that she had to kind of stay on his ass and watch his ass. I think Ken's very, very lucky that there wasn't social media around when he was married with young children and such. Allegedly, obviously. Mm-hmm. Yes, Krista, great point. If we fight between ourselves, women, then we won't fight them. And do you see what Tom Sandoval's doing? He's pitting Carolyn against Victoria, Victoria against Carolyn. Even if Vicky's the one who is initiating this, going, oh my God, get rid of Carolyn. I think she has a crush on you. Tom is playing into that. Rather than respectfully being a grown man and being like, oh my gosh, this woman was very kind to me. And if she does have a crush on me, I will respectfully, say thank you very much. I am in this relationship and it just is disrespectful to my girlfriend. It's nothing you did, Carolyn, but he could handle this so in a mature way, but he doesn't know how to do that. So instead he's going to pit these two women against each other and he's going to be part of the drama and he's going to be messy and say, you didn't like my girlfriend's tweets and you didn't do all this stuff, rather than maybe confronting that he is going to continue to be in these childish relationships because he himself is an unevolved, childish Peter Pan boy who is not owning or changing or living in his truth and is still a liar who can't be trusted. And also, Vicky, we know you're not, but just in case you're not, when you date a guy like this is always how it's going to be. And you deserve better. But again, you're going to have two women going at each other while he just sits there and goes, what'd I do? I can guarantee you that Tom Sandoval, if Carolyn really opens up again about this, I wouldn't be surprised if Tom Sandoval was, kind of leading her on in ways and flirting and doing this sort of thing. Because this is what Tom Sandoval does. This is what he does. These men keep failing up, right? So that's what was so frustrating to see Carolyn literally on the come up. Literally the world is hers. And she's wasting valuable time on podcasts and interviews to talk about this man she doesn't know. This man that doesn't deserve any of her oxygen or her space to stick up for him. And she was so just like, no, I don't care. Cancel me tomorrow. So there was something more, and we know how Tom works. And we know how he pretends to, make the women feel special and manipulate them and give him his sob story. And he's weird and he's quirky and he's cool. No, he just wears platform shoes because he's sad that he's not taller and he's lived in LA for too long. He's not quirky, weird, and cool. He's just really into his looks and he's superficial. So yeah, that's it. Yes, Tom is definitely hyping Vicky to go after Carolyn. And Vicky, I would say, don't waste your time. Keep rescuing the animals like we've seen you do. That's beautiful work. We love to see it. Don't go at Carolyn. Leave her alone. And if you have a boyfriend, first of all, I don't understand why you're dating him, period, except for you're going to take him down. But if you have a boyfriend who wants you to attack another woman in his name, red flag, flag on the play. Okay. He's done it. Yes, Mac, over and over and over. Beach says, how about, right, a little gratitude. Carolyn had his back when no one else on Traitors gave him the time of day. But Tom doesn't see it like that. That's that narcissistic brain. He's a selfish man who just he only knows how to take from women. He took Ariana's house, takes from his mom's retirement, took Rachel Raquel off the show, takes a screen recording of her when she's doing the fingerling without consent. He just takes. That's all he does. So he took what Carolyn would offer for the redemption arc. And then once he saw the public turning a little bit like, I like him. I like Tom. He's not that bad. Then he was like, bye, bitch. He's a boozer, a user, and a loser. Anna says Carolyn was so sure. Yep, she knew the real Tom. And all of us who watched him for 12 years just didn't understand him. Please stop doing this. Please, dear Lord, stop doing this. You set us back as women every time we do this. No, he's different now. No, he's not like that. Okay, but 98% of women say he is. So, walking red flag. Oh, you know it, Books of a Lost World. You got it. You're smart. Says, I wonder if this incident with Carolyn is why he's pushing up us with his podcast again. Oh, he'll be talking about it and we'll be roasting it and calling his ass out. That's what we will be doing. All right. Janine says, Tom used Carolyn just like all the other women in his life, especially his own mother. Yep. He uses you to raise his, because Tom isn't a star on his own. He needs women. He needed Ariana. He needs Scandival. So he needed Rachel, Raquel, and Ariana. You know, he always needs women to do all the work for him because he's not, otherwise he'd have to look in the mirror and realize there's nothing really special about me. I'm just kind of an asshole. I'm just kind of a Peter Pan loser LA dude who refuses to grow up and wants to be the victim of my own crimes. But otherwise there's not really anything interesting or special about you. You needed the editors to edit you in a way that people were like, okay, I guess it's this bromance with him and Schwartz. But the women had to like really step up their game. If you look at like, you know, just like Kristen, Stassi, Katie, Ariana over the years on the show, Sheena compared to what Tom brought, you're like, Tom he didn't really bring anything. He just brought judgment on the women, a sidecar, some failed businesses, weird hair. But really the women had to do, much like in life, the majority of the hard work. And then he reaped the benefits and then disrespects them and throws them away like he does and is like, I don't know what happened. Okay, it happened to me too. It's like, I'm sorry, what are you saying? You're the victim of you putting your dick where it doesn't belong? And he will talk himself out of accountability.
Nothing happened. You did it.
Mm-hmm.
He is a victim, blame me 100% of the way. So I don't believe anything that just came out of his mouth. I think he's full of shit. And he can off.
And if we keep allowing men like this to have redemption arcs when there have been no consequences and also he has never apologized and continues to just blame women, what we're going to get is continued to get, you know, just hurt women and people allowing him to like hurt people, like a wake of women. He's just going to keep leaving as he just gets more and more opportunities. So as much as people are like, that was fun laughing at him. Yeah, he's a nice guy. This is who he really is. And he will not change because there's no reason for him to change. He gets rewarded for this behavior. And women continue to stick up for him. The network continues to stick up for him. And he continues to shit on those who got him to where he is today.
Ariana doesn't do a goddamn thing in that house. I don't even know how her ass gets wiped. The girl's so goddamn lazy. You don't even empty the litter box of your cat. I literally pulled out the litter box and replaced the entire thing. I had 12 shits in it. It gets annoying to have her like talk shit about me like being a certain way when she literally is the laziest person.
And it was interesting to hear Carolyn be like, he's gaslighting me. He's lying to me. He's not living in reality. He's creating things that didn't exist. It's like, yep, that's what Tom and Tom do.
This guy that I haven't spoken to in, you know, however many months, all of a sudden is some sort of authority on who I am and how I live my life and what I think and feel. Well, that's interesting. Just like a man.
Don't f with me, fellas! This ain't my first time at the rodeo.
You're lying. No, I'm not lying.
Lying. You're lying. If Tom's mouth is moving, he is lying. And for that, I feel like he can leave.
Can leave.
So there you go. The toxic Toms, you guys. We'll continue to call them out because obviously Bravo and them, they just continue rewarding them. But we as viewers and as, responsible journalists with fluffy pens that they can use to stim while live, we will do the things, take the notes, the journalist. Just call me the Connie Chung, the Diane Sawyer of YouTube, okay? Or a very loose in more ways than one version. Okay, thank you guys so much for joining me for this live. Hopefully you enjoyed the tea. Continue to call out these toxic freaks, or I should say wannabe freaks. Thank you to my new members, Casey. Thank you to my members who have been with me for a while, with Bubco with 12 months, and Indiana Girl Jules 45 months. Thank you to all my super chatters, Evelyn, Bubco, Chickenhead PK Neely, Letting the Days Go By, Cammie, Karen, Bite, Stessy Bo. Thank you. Even though we didn't hit our super chat goal, you guys, you guys showed up and showed out, and you were so kind and so generous, and so I'm going to come back and I will roast and recap the first episode of Brittany Cartwright's When Reality Hits with her guest Lala Kent, and we'll have some fun with that tonight. Though I am going to be having my friend Shauna Christmas, who is a Bravo fan, hilarious comedian. Her and I used to do recaps on Potomac and a couple other things. She's going to join me tonight for us to talk about more Traitors, because I'm finally going to do the finale and reunion roast and recap. And I'm going to be doing it with my friend Shauna Christmas. So I will put the Traitors cloak back on and we'll get into it, because originally I did a watch party for it and I was just like burnt out. And then when I was like, I need a friend to do this with. And Shauna's like, I'm watching Traitors. And I'm like, all right, it's on. So join us tonight for that. Make sure you have your notifications on so you get notified every time I set a live and go live. Don't forget to hit that like on the way out, you guys. Let's set a goal in the comments for okay. Let's see. So we have Jax's next 2 episodes I'm going to roast. We have the Brittany first episode I'm going to roast. Okay. If we put in the comments, roast it. If you want me to roast the episode that Tom says is coming out soon of his podcast. He's bringing it back after he gets back from his karaoke tour. If we get 30 comments that say roast, and let's see where we are with likes. So we need 30 comments after the video posts that say roast it, and I'll know what you're talking about. And you can say roast the Sandoval podcast if you want. We have 178 likes. If we get over 300 likes and 30 comments to roast it, I will roast up his first episode, which we know is going to be crazy. Okay. Anna says, oh my God, Jolene, what if Rachel's lawyers listen to this and those podcasts and find out Tom is still recording women without their consent and harassing them? Well, someone send this to Rachel Raquel. Good luck, Rachel. Take Ariana off the lawsuit and use that and have your lawyers. Maybe you can subpoena forensics on his phone. I don't know how it works. I'm just watching Emily D. Baker and Karen Reed stuff. So objection overruled. Maybe you can access his phone. Didn't Blake Lively try that with Justin Baldoni, where she wanted like 80 years of his phone records or something? So maybe, I don't know, Rachel Raquel, maybe you could do that. Maybe you could do that. Okay. So thank you guys so much. Hit the like. Remember, 30 comments to roast it and over 300 likes, and I will roast the first episode of Sandoval's podcast that comes back. Oh, as painful as it's going to be, we'll make it fun. All right, you guys, if you're not already, follow me on Instagram and the TikTok at Joleen Lunzer. And always remember to enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. Bye.
If you like what you see,